What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to Late Hoops. Today's video, we're just going to be talking Magic basketball. Now, I have watched a pretty good amount of Magic games this week, and at the beginning of the season, I watched a couple games, but I wanted to just kind of let it breathe before I come out with a take like this. By the title, you guys can see, we're going to be asking the question, do the Orlando Magic have the best young core in the NBA? Before we get into this video, guys, I want to say thank you so much for the support recently, but I also want to say that 87% of you guys who are watching this video are not subscribed. So if you're new and enjoy this kind of content, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and stick around. Without further ado, let's get straight into this video. So the Magic are currently the 13th seed in the East, and they're obviously going to miss the playoffs this year, and they're only 5-5 in their last 10 games. Very mid. I know, I understand. However, there is so many bright spots on this roster. If you guys were watching that Blazers game last night, Franz Wagner, who we're going to be talking about first, looked absolutely unstoppable. Dude is averaging 24 and 3.5 assists a night on pretty good splits, shooting 35% from the three and 49% from the field. And honestly, guys, he just looks so poised. He is one of two people from the 2021 draft class that's averaging above 20 points a game. The other one is Jalen Green, so shouts out to him on the Rockets. Even though he's had a rough couple of games, that's besides the point. This is about the Magic. Franz Wagner, he's looked amazing, just like his brother Mo Wagner. It's honestly crazy that they're here playing on the same NBA roster. I think a lot of Magic fans were kind of nervous when they traded their all-star Nikola Vucevic for guys like Wendell Carter Jr. But Wendell Carter, he has found a good role on this team of playing the defensive center and also grabbing the boards when he can, and just, you know, producing on offense, even if it's just a little bit every night. Obviously, they kind of switch him up, playing him at the center and the power forward. He's still trying to find his true position, but either way, I just like what I'm seeing out of him. Another forward on this team I like what I'm seeing a lot of is obviously rookie Paolo Banchero. He didn't go number one for no reason. On the season, he's averaging 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists on about 43% from the field. Now, in last night's game, I saw he was super inefficient. That's one takeaway I have from that Trailblazers game. He does take some shots that are just, you can tell he's understanding the difference between the collegiate scoring level and load and the NBA scoring level and load. Like, people from the 1 to 5 are going to guard you completely different, but he has still, obviously, like I said, he's averaging 21 points a game. He's been finding his rhythm, kind of playing in this system, and honestly, I really do like to see that. I am not going to lie to you guys, I had my doubts about this prospect coming into the season. I thought there was a lot of other guys in this draft class that were just going to soar above the expectation that Paolo had on him when he was drafted number 1. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, especially when you take a look at this Magic team, and obviously they have guys like Franz Wagner and Bol Bol and Jonathan Isaac and Wendell Carter Jr. and Mo Bamba and Mo Wagner. Like, that is so many forwards. Nonetheless, they've been starting him pretty much all year, and he has been amazing. Another person that's been amazing is Bol Bol. Like, I mean, you guys know, if you watched my video talking about the Eastern Conference teams that finished in the bottom 3, the 13, 14, and 15 seed, obviously the Magic were one of those teams. One thing I said was to just, if you're a Magic fan, be patient, because I saw the silver lining in this team with how deep they were, and I did make a joke that they had the secret weapon Bol Bol. And this season, in limited minutes, 26 to be exact, he's averaging 12 points and 7 rebounds on almost 60% from the field and almost 40% from downtown. He has been battling injury. Last night, he actually was available for that Trailblazers game, but head coach Jamal Mosley decided to just sit him for the whole night, and I don't know if that's for reasons other than maybe it just wasn't right to play him in that game. But regardless, I think the people of Orlando and the fans of Orlando and just all the players in Orlando, they're really starting to just accept and kind of appreciate that real talent that Bol Bol has. Obviously, we see guys like Wemby, you know, Victor Wemby, that's about to get drafted next year. A lot of people are saying that Bol Bol is kind of what we'll should be expecting from Wemby. Now, in my opinion, I will say that for a later video. I'm not even going to talk about Victor this video, but Bol Bol, He has been amazing. And not to mention, we're going to kind of move on from talking about the forward depth on this team. But Jonathan Isaac has not played a game since the bubble, almost 3 years. And if you guys aren't familiar with Jonathan's game, when he came into the NBA, he was kind of compared to Kevin Durant, but less of a scorer and more of a defender. And that just comes with the length and size that he brings on both sides of the ball. Jonathan Isaac is capable of being a first team all defensive talent when he's healthy. And I'm really stoked to see him return. With an injury like an MCL and an ACL tear, though, it really is kind of scary because when you're that big and you play 82 games a night, a lot of these injuries can really just affect the production that we see out of these players. But I really am rooting for you, Jonathan, and I hope nothing but the best for when you return. And I'm not really sure, as far as before we move on from the front court play, I'm not really sure what their motives are with Mo Bamba. I mean, when Mo Bamba got drafted, I remember thinking to myself that because of his defensive capabilities, he's probably one of the safest picks in the draft, because if you have a big who can play center, I mean, it's a lock. You're good. This guy's a 7'10" wingspan, and I feel like people forget that he was selected 6th in the 2018 draft, one of the most stacked drafts we've seen in recent NBA history. And this season, he's only getting 18 minutes a night, and some nights he's getting coaches DNPs. Now, I'm not saying that's his fault or the Magic's fault, but if you're not going to play him, move on from him. I know teams like the Lakers, the Lakers could use everyone, let's be honest, but a lot of people could be yearning for a defensive center who's shooting 37% from three. In limited minutes, he's averaging 7 points and 5 rebounds and a block a night. But that's just something that the Orlando Magic as a team, they have to figure out. Now, let's talk about the guard play on this team when it comes to this, young core. Obviously, you have Jalen Suggs, you have Cole Anthony, I know Franz Wagner is a small forward, but he's been playing a lot of guard this season. But the most underrated, in my opinion, is Markelle Fultz. I'm a big advocate for this guy. I've done nothing but root for Markelle. Every single time I see, the unders and overs on his points and assists, I'm always locking in the overs just because I think Markelle is an absolute bucket. And I think he's kind of got a chip on his shoulder because a lot of people quit on him, once that injury was happening. This season, he's only been playing 27 minutes a night, but he's averaging 12 points, almost 6 assists, almost 2 steals, and 4 rebounds. And he's got that free throw percentage up to nearly 66%. I know that's not the greatest, but when he first came into the league, obviously he was, having a lot of issues with that degenerative shoulder disease. And I'm just really proud to see how much he's grown as a player. He's shooting really efficient. I mean, last night, again, that game against the Trailblazers, he was getting to his spots. He was taking smart shots. He had 18 points and he shot 7 for 8 from the field. It was really, really awesome to just watch Markelle ball out. And this entire week, I watched him against the Warriors. He had a good game. Against the Kings, he had a good game. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of Magic games in preparation for this video, and it's been really, really awesome to see. They kind of have this dynamic where they're playing Cole about 27 minutes a night, and they're playing Markelle about 27 minutes a night, and then they have Jalen Suggs, who they're playing about 26 minutes a night, and they're all kind of averaging the same stats. Now, that just scares me a little bit. And it only scares me because what direction are we going? Like, we have to pick at some point. One of these guys has to be the number one, the big shot, the guy who down the stretch we're giving him the ball almost every time unless he's getting doubled. And that's just a decision that the Orlando Magic are going to have to make in the future. But I know this was kind of a quick video, guys, but what do you think about this young core? Are they a top 3, a top 5, a top 1 core in the league? Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate your guys' support as always. Stay tuned for videos in the future. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.